Olix Network 18, Mission Poshan, Bhavishya Roshan.
There goes the bell. It's a flat opening. Okay, now a dash of red. 8 points down, 12 points down on the Nifty, 15 down on the Nifty. So, well, markets didn't take the early morning green cues. Now it's almost 18, 20 points down on the Nifty, 10,719 as I speak. So you'll have to say, okay, now it's 10,720. We can take that as the first opening. 10,720, about 15 points down. And the Sensex down about 40, 45, 35,278. The Nifty Bank has opened with a big gash, 0.5% down, 130 down on the Nifty Bank. And the mid-caps, well, at the moment are just about as red as the large caps. Nothing terrible over there. But in the Nifty itself, it's the ICICI stock that's standing tall at 3.6%. So markets very happy that perhaps there is a cleanup, or at least there is an end to the uncertainty as they see it. The other stocks doing well: Sun Pharma, Bharti Infratel, Bajaj Auto, BPCL, HPCL, so all the oil marketing companies, as Rahul was pointing out, and Mr. Tulsi, all of them up. All the auto stocks are up, as Sonia was pointing out. They usually are before the numbers come, especially the strong ones like Maruti and Bajaj Auto. Indiabulls housing is not at the moment weathered by the higher bond yields. Lupin, HUL, all those stocks also starting with 0.5% gain. But there is a big red gash on ONGC, down 3.6%, Axis down 1.7%. I think it's the sale of shares also that will affect these stocks. Let's see if L&T and ITC are affected. ITC is down only 1/3%. And maybe we want to pull up L&T as well. Yeah, L&T also mildly in the red. It's not seriously affected by the Suzuki stake sale news, though ITC is now lost about 1/3%. On the whole, index very, very flat. Mid-caps?
Yeah, very flat for the mid-caps as well. The market breadth is split right down the middle. So you have, it's veering towards the advances. So that's a good thing. 620 stocks on the advancing side. It's Escorts that's moving up higher this morning on the back of the 20% monthly auto sales growth that they've seen. Much better than expectation. So Escorts is high. Ashok Leyland ahead of the numbers is also moving up higher. Expected to be a strong month for commercial vehicles in general. One stock that has, climbed the volume and price charts is CG Power lately. That stock is up almost 7.5% today. Of course, it's also had a very volatile run over the last 2-3 weeks, so keep an eye out on that. Idea Cellular is up about 2%. Some of the sugar names are in the green. Balrampur Chini is up. Suzlon is up about 2% and PFC is doing a bit of a jig on the upside. On the downside, though, Relcom is coming in for profit taking, down about 6%. Makrangi once again under pressure. You have some of the other, Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, SBI, etc. in the red. So it's only ICICI Bank that's holding the Bank Nifty. If not, it would have fallen some more, the Bank Nifty that is. So dragging a bit on its feet. Now absolutely flat for the index, and the talking point continues to be ICICI Bank, up 3.5% now, and Bajaj Auto ahead of its numbers. All right, the Bajaj Auto numbers have also come on the exchanges. Okay. So let me just pull up the release for you.
Actually, why don't you read that out? Meanwhile, I'll go to Ashwini and ask him how he would trade early morning.
Yes, the numbers have come, Lata. So 30% growth is what Bajaj Auto has seen this time. Very strong. The team will just flash it. 4.07 lakh units is what Bajaj Auto has done in terms of sales, and that is a very strong growth both in domestic and exports. 29% domestic growth is what they've seen this time, and about a 31% export growth is what the company has seen. Remember, last month was also very strong for them. It was record high export sales, and this month they continue that traction. So very good numbers coming in.
Actually, I only have a Nomura number to guesstimate, and that one was 3.97 lakhs. So 4.07 is better than what Nomura has estimated. I think the markets will be pleasantly surprised with these numbers. It's 2%. Okay, now climbing 2% higher on Bajaj Auto, and that's given a green hue to the Nifty. It's moved from a little bit of red to a little bit of green. Okay, Ashwini, first trade.
See, the Bank Nifty opened, I think, 170 down. So that gave you a good buying opportunity. So Bank Nifty can now be bought. On the stock side, I think Escorts is opened up above key resistances. So there could be follow through on these numbers. Also, Indiabulls housing has opened extremely strong. So, that there could be follow through there. It appears that NBFCs, contrary to logic, have opened higher and possibly moving up. Again, a lot of stocks got hammered yesterday because of margins being increased, etc. CG Power, the smaller stocks, JN Irrigation, all of those guys are moving up. So that way, it appears that the market has a positive tone, and this initial weakness is likely to get bought into.
Okay, Rahul Mohinder, your first trade?
I think definitely, opening on expected lines, no fireworks. The little drop that we saw in the morning continues to be an opportunity to buy. I would again rotate myself towards banking, stock like SBI for that matter, heavyweight. That could help the index a good bit. Axis Bank too, I think. More or less, I like the soft opening, on the banks. Clearly an opportunity to get in with a clean stop.
Okay, all right. Gentlemen, yes. Prakash Gaba, any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I think banks are looking good to me. We could see maybe bank climbing to around 26,850. I like stock HDFC. That can climb higher to maybe around 1860 zones.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking us through the pre-market and the early market moves. We are, of course, going to invite you once again at 10 a.m. to know your 10 a.m. trades. Markets flat at this point in time with a mild dash of green, which is good after yesterday's monster rally. But the mid-caps are continuing to see some pain, and the Nifty Bank is erasing that pain a bit. With that backdrop, let's invite our market master, Samir Arora, founder and fund manager, Helios Capital. Good morning, Samir. Always a pleasure having you with us. Let me straight away delve into the most newsy stock of the moment. ICICI Bank inquiry appointed. Chanda Kochhar is on leave. The bank apparently is calling it a planned annual vacation. The market is reading it as the CEO going on leave to ensure that the inquiry is fair. How do you approach that stock?
I don't approach it. I don't have it. I'm not short it. But big picture, I would think that the independent director should also resign, because if this is the story, and this has been around for so many months, and then first to deny and then to say we know everything, and then suddenly because they got an email from SEBI to suddenly panic and say that how will we show some reaction. So I don't know beyond that, and I should not comment beyond that. But it looks reactive to me.
Okay, whether she resigns, independent directors resign, shareholders who are in the stock can't do that, right? I mean, they can't sell at a loss. So what do you do? What do shareholders do now? I mean, it's, as they say, better late than never.
You can read Financial Times, Wall Street Journal or Economic Times. Why do you have to do everything every minute? Nothing has to be.
Okay.
Okay. Right. What about, I mean, this other issue, Samir, about auditors just quitting days before the annual accounts are signed? I mean, we've seen it happen in two peculiar cases now. You see a lot more blowing up in the face, and how do you approach this as a shareholder?
Well, we are one of these, which is Dilip Buildcon, where there is rumor was there that now here also something is happening. Thank God nobody has resigned there. But I would think in a big picture sense, we waste these opportunities as a system and as a regulator plus the market because there is no follow-up. Nobody officially tells us, means the auditor obviously can't tell. But if an auditor resigns, maybe the regulator should say so that it's not the liability of the auditor that he has revealed some inner secrets. And have some broad categories that he's resigned because he disagrees with this. What is the point of this? There's no knowledge. We still don't know what happened in Bakrangi. We still don't know what happened in this Manpasand. What is the use? We don't learn from any of these things. If you just say somebody's resigned, therefore we should keep away from bad stocks. But we didn't know what is a bad stock till somebody tells us that these kind of things are done. And therefore be careful. Nobody knows anything. Okay, randomly the next guy can resign. Then the only answer is, therefore, my old theory that don't have 10 stocks, have 40 stocks. Don't overcommit to any name. Don't be visible with any name because it will be, something on your face, whatever is supposed to be on your face, because you sort of said, I like this company and this happened.
Yep.
Nothing is learned from these exercises other than excitement, sometimes because we don't have it, sometimes because a competitor has it, and sometimes if we are short once in a while, but not obviously in these cases.
That's very colourfully put, Samir. Never waste a crisis, and we waste crisis after crisis. You're right on that point. Let me come to this bipole. Does it worry you that the big BJP sway is getting reduced? The market is unruffled.
No, right now I'm not worried because, the thing is, these are slow bleeding kind of thing, if at all. From from a market point of view. And by the time the central elections are done, we will have these other 2-3 polls that we have. And all. So whatever has to happen would be 60-80% discounted by then. I still believe at the end of the day, BJP will come back, but with lower numbers. But if it's really bad, as in that they get less than whatever, say 200 seats, then yeah, that day the market will fall 10%. But today, what can you do about it? I mean, today we have to believe that there can be a loss of numbers, but not a loss of the government in that sense. But who knows? But it's too early to, plan for it or to react to it or short for it. These will all get done in the last 30-60 days of, before the elections actually happen.
By the way, in the market, although the headline index is flat, ICICI Bank is surging. It's up almost about 4% now, and volumes are picking up. It's almost at that 300 rupee mark. Remember, 365 is the high, the recent high, so it's inching towards that. Samir, how are you feeling about the markets now?
I'm okay about the markets, although I'm confused about the stance that the Indian system has taken against, according to me, foreign investors in general. If you look at this HDFC issue where they've removed this FII trading, I mean, there is no point in all these things other than to unnecessarily, big picture, hurt some investor without any corresponding benefit on the other side. So, for example, look at it, the market cap of HDFC Bank is $80 billion. And although we say that 74% is foreign owned, actually it's 50 because 20 is HDFC. So let's say $40 billion is held by foreign investors. Now, there was an FII window which would trade at, say, 3-4% premium. And therefore, you have blown away $1.5 billion because we don't carry and many others don't carry it at FII prices, but you could because it was as liquid as the cash market. But even if we carried it, doesn't matter because for any one guy, it doesn't matter, even if he owns 5-7%. But the point is, you collectively blown away $1.5 billion of FII NAV. And it's not that somebody else in India will benefit $1.5 billion. And when there is a bad time, previously, because there was a 3-4% buffer, the foreigner will have to try and sell it to another foreigner. They will wait 10 days. By that 10 days, the problem will be over. Now, randomly, you create this uncertainty, and we don't know why. And the other one they did recently, which also, that I think is a mistake, that, we say make in India, Mr. Modi is here in Singapore saying invest in India, and then they say, but Indians should not start asset management companies or something to that effect. But that one, I believe, still is a error or some overreach. But it makes no sense to say that a German guy should launch a fund in Germany to raise money for India, which neither he will raise and neither anybody will give him. And to say an Indian will be looked at with suspicion, I mean, I think that one is a mistake of some form. But still, these things you have to be careful about. They're unnecessary. Market, I'm okay. My net is quite high at some 65%. And that is basically because I covered my state-owned banks too early. We have this thing that believe in your stocks. I did not believe enough in my PSU banks and I covered them too early.
They'll go down further. I'll come to those, your long shot in a second. One more foreign issue that, or whatever, FI-related issue I wanted to discuss with you. The MSCI putting out a consulting paper that they will limit the size or share given to India and Brazilian stocks because of this SGX move. Where do you stand on that? Do you think that's going to be negative in terms of funds that will follow? Do you think MSCI will carry out its threat?
See, that one I don't know that whether they will carry it out or not because, they don't talk to hedge funds for getting this review. They will talk to Capital International and the big guys who have $10-20 billion in India to say, how do you react? And they may say that we don't care. But if they react, it will be mega negative. It will be not negative, it will be mega negative because it's a waste of all the other efforts that we make in terms of ease of doing business and getting investors, not we as a country and the government and even fund managers, because you would have blown away maybe 10, 20, $30 billion of inflows, and for which you'll have to work extra hard, and therefore you would have wasted 3-4 years of your life because Because it's so much money is influenced by them. It doesn't matter whether they are intelligent or not intelligent. And yesterday I heard my competitor or peer fund manager saying we should talk to them. Who's the we? There is no we because of that's what I'm saying. Who's the we? I can't go and tell MSCI I don't Kotak.
No, I see your point, Samir. I see your point that there is no we, and maybe some big funds like, as you say, Capital International can prevail on them. But purely on point of principle, it's not as if the Indian government has restricted access to FIIs because of this. Your previous points are well taken. But, you know, the FII access to all Indian stocks have remained the same before and after the SGX. So, I mean, in principle...
Because this is the MSCI doing, not me doing it.
I agree. No, I mean...
You can't argue with many of these things. Okay. MSCI has just included 200 China A shares. Look at the pressure that China must have put to do this, to achieve this, because they have had initially even, you know, restricted selling and all that.
It's a bloody lobby group, yaar.
MSCI, because somebody told China or they understood that this is an easy way to get money. So they achieved it. It's like ease of doing business. There are 100 bullet points and we say we don't care, we have to get this bullet point right. Nobody says whether this bullet point makes sense or not. Whether do you think an FDI guy really cares whether an application takes 30 days or 60 days? He's going to invest for 100 years. But it matters in the FDI rating done by somebody, and therefore we have to do it. Otherwise we can say it's better for you to take 1 year in thinking about getting into India, you'll be more sure. It could be legitimate. Why should it matter to an FDI guy whether there is 1 window or 10 windows? But that is the way the world ranks you. So we say we will do it.
Okay,
it's the same thing. The point is, you look at it differently. Let us say we have one company in India, one fund in India which has 30% return and other 24% return per annum in the past. Now go to an individual investor and say that if you want to invest in the fund which has 30% return in the past and hoping that he's a good guy, you will first have to file 3 more forms. You'll have to take some approval from income tax. You will have to sign something. You will be paying some extra tax on it. And every year you'll have to fill KYC 4 times instead of 1 time. 80% of Indians will say, we don't care, it's okay, 24 is okay for us.
Okay.
It's not that you want to become the highest guy and you will do
feel your pain. Yeah. We have discussed this topic endlessly in the past, offline and online. Okay, I wanted to ask you also about this whole SGX issue. You know, last time when we spoke, you were quite excited about all the new products that SGX was going to launch. It was going to happen by the 4th of June. But now I think that I hear that a lot of that is in limbo. It's in court, etc. What's the latest there? And I mean, would that also be a disappointment?
So I think this MSCI is connected to that. So these are all mixed terms of connected.
Yeah.
So that we don't know much in that sense that what will they do, because it's a court thing and I don't know even what their, you know, legal understanding is or what the agreement between the NSE. In a big picture sense, I would say that these are small things that whether the trade gets done in Ahmedabad or in Singapore, they could have said the Singapore guys who do it in Ahmedabad. It would have been easier. It's not that anybody in the world cares whether 100% of the trading broking income is booked in Ahmedabad or in 80% would have achieved the same purpose. We are being, in a sense, penny wise, pound foolish in doing these micro attacks on the world for investing in India or wanting to invest in India.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay.
Because anyway, the tax is going to be zero even there. So it can't be the...
So that point is taken, yeah. They don't gain.
That Singapore we want to stop because they don't pay taxes. Because anyway, the alternative is to go to the IFC and not pay taxes.
Yeah,
so therefore, it's only a matter of where the heading is booked.
Correct.
So you can ensure that it's booked there, but it doesn't have to be 100%. You can say, okay, 60, 50, 40, God knows how much. Let these guys take for their KYC and comfort with the investor, and the rest will be done there.
Okay. No, that point is taken. If it is going to be in Gujarat instead of Singapore, then we are not really gaining anything. But let me come now to stocks.
But that is the only point. Yeah. There is no other point. So if that point is taken, you agree with me.
Okay. Well, let's see how it plays out in the first place. Samir, I know that this was a tax-related issue that led to this SGX Nifty being derecognized or the data not being given.
May I just say one more thing? You know, on this thing now that people are doing round tripping and all, even there that concept is gone. If anyway there is no Mauritius treaty or Singapore treaty for stock market gains and all, so there is no round tripping concept from tax angle.
No, not round tripping. It is just that people trade on Indian shares, but India doesn't get the capital gains, and that is why.
If they trade, in the IFC, they will still not get.
Yes.
So
yes, they will not get. They will not get. It doesn't make sense if it's going from Singapore to Gujarat. I completely take that point, and the only point. Okay, okay. No, Samir, I just want to drag you back into some stocks. We've discussed a lot of issues, but now we've seeing interest rates definitely snaking up. You began with a broad positive view on NBFCs about 2 years ago, and it must have made you a lot of money. Now, how are you approaching the NBFC trade?
No, we have the same ones. We don't. For us, our NBFCs are what we call them NBFCs, but some are wealth managers and some are old housing guys. And so we have those 4 or 5 companies, and they are not stopping. They still grow 30%, 40%. This year you saw one of them still grew some 60%. So, this quarter. So that is the way to play not just NBFC, but to play all these other things that you want to play, which is consumption, which is even say auto sales. What is the point? Just play these NBFCs because they have a sort of a vacuum in which they are operating, which is being vacated by state-owned banks and generally the guys who have succeeded. So my theory is that if a company is doing well, it continues to do well till it does badly. And when it does badly, on that day, it will fall 10%. Okay. So that's okay. That day we will sell that off.
The Einstein of the stock markets, yes.
There's no point in preempting all these things.
But consumption and autos, everyone and his father is invested in the consumption and the auto space, right? it's gone up about 40% this year.
Yeah.
Including Walmart, yeah. So you think this is a story that's played out, or is there more to go?
No, I think that you have to be careful. For example, we believe that one day we'll increase prices and we'll remove discounts and all that. So my favorite current story is look at the air conditioning market where we actually also own a few stocks. So currently in Delhi, the temperature is 45 degrees and people say that AC sales are not happening because in between for 3 days some rain came.
Yeah.
The sensitivity of an Indian to buy anything where he doesn't care it's 45 degrees, but we know it's going to be not for 20 days, this time 15 days, or that for 3 days in between there was a thunderstorm. So this is the crowd which has not been willing to pay 200 rupees to the cable company. And so the ARPU fellow is some 180, 200 rupees. And we think that we will give, raise prices over time and we will remove all these discounts. So the point is, we, as in our fund, we don't believe in billion consumer stories. We believe in 100 million consumer stories and we will continue to believe.
Okay. Well, Samir, the next guest is waiting by. So very quickly, how long short, what is your proportion and where are you short?
So as I said, right now our shorts are less. We must be 30 short.
Okay.
And our lucrative shorts, unfortunately, already have made money and we covered them. Okay. Although if we had kept them for another month or 2, it would have added more value.
So where are you short?
So right now it's more boring. We even have a little bit of index because we couldn't find shorts. Okay. That is why I'm bullish because I couldn't find shorts.
Okay.
Because they've fallen a lot. All these favorite short categories of ours have fallen a lot, including telecom, PSU banks, of course, oil company. All these things have fallen a lot. So now we have to find, please get new IPOs or get old IPOs listed on the futures market.
Or get new auditors.
Samir, do you like,
but we have them on the short side.
Do you like any pharma stocks, considering every time you come on our channel, your blood pressure rises a lot, I'm sure?
We are short all of them.
Okay, there you are. They're giving you opportunities to make money. Thank you very much, Samir. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. The most regaling, entertaining and educating half an hour when we have Samir Arora on the channel. Okay, we get back to corporate earnings. ONGC is the stock on the radar. It has reported its highest profit in 17 quarters. Here's more from the chat that my colleague Anshu Sharma had with Shashi Shankar, Chairman, ONGC.
not the taxes. In fact, we had to pay some interest because when we acquired this HPCL, then we had to borrow some fund from the market. And towards that, there was some interest burden, but as such, there was no issue. In fact, you might have seen that our PAT in the third quarter is the highest amongst all the 4 quarters. So as such, there was no financial strain for that matter in the company.
Okay. How about the production levels for both gas and oil, and what are the targets set for the new financial year?
Yeah, I'm very happy to, in fact, this was shared during the presentation also, on all the fronts, whether you talk about oil, gas, or the value-added product. Standalone basis, year-on-year basis, on the oil front, there has been an increase of 0.3%. There has been substantial increase in gas production. It has gone up by 6.3%. And the value-added product, that has also gone up by 4.6%. So this year on the physical performance front also had been very encouraging for us.
Okay. Where does ONGC stand in terms of integration of HPCL?
See, integration of HPCL.
ONGC and MRPL in future.
See, as I was telling you that today if you see at the group level, our crude oil production is 35 million tons. Refining capacity, if you see MRPL, HPCL, and we have one small refinery called Tata. Put together it is around 36 million tons. The retail marketing also network which the HPCL has, that is also close to 36 million tons. So with all these 3 companies coming under one fold, so today probably we are in true sense a vertically integrated company. So we are already an integrated company.
Yeah. Okay. So what plans for the capex and in terms of increasing your production this year? Also, will there be any new acquisition abroad?
No, see, acquisition is something we are always on lookout for some properties if you get some good opportunities. So this is an ongoing process.
And the capex
so,
plan?
Capex, yes, and the kind of balance sheet we have, so far we have not faced any problem as far as raising fund is concerned. So we are pretty confident that as and when if you get some good property, we should be able to finance.
But any expenditure plan, any amount that you set aside for this financial
we
year?
keep some notional fund, but if, as and when required, if the fund requirement is more, we have been able to make that kind of investment. You must have seen the banker, we have done it. The Abu Dhabi deal we just talked about. And as for domestic investment is concerned, we have again, in fact, we have increased our investment target to 32,000 crores.
Okay.
Indian rupees, yeah.
Okay. My last question to you is, how prepared is ONGC to absorb the subsidy on retail fuel prices? Has the government reached out to ONGC?
No. The answer is, I'm giving a very honest answer. There has not been any communication to us. There has not been any discussion on this subsidy sharing.
Joining us after a while, Rajiv, good morning. You've been in hiding. People tell me that it's only a 30% growth that will now bring Rajiv Bajaj to talk on camera.
Hi, Sonia. No, I don't know where you're getting that from. Actually, Mangalam said to me this morning that, Sir, aap wapis aa jao, Sonia ma'am is having withdrawal symptoms, so I'm back.
Okay. I don't think it's me having withdrawal symptoms. I think it's all your shareholders having withdrawal symptoms.
I mean, if the withdrawal symptoms are only bringing you on phone, it's not good enough. Who else should get withdrawal symptoms to get you on camera?
Chalo, Lata, for you next time.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's get to the numbers. 30%, it's never been as good for quite a long time. Is there a maintainable pace, and what's going so damn right?
Well, maintainable pace, time will tell. But I think right now, quite frankly, everything is going right. If you want, I will take you very quickly through the numbers. So for exports, for the month of May, we have a growth of 31%. Year-to-date, 26%, led primarily by Nigeria for motorcycles, a growth from 20,000 to 70,000. So when Nigeria does well, Bajaj does well. On the three-wheeler business, we've had a remarkable run in exports. Egypt has doubled from 11,000 to 22,000 units year-to-date. And new markets, this is something we are really proud of. Cambodia from virtually 0 to 5,000, Iraq from 0 to 2,500, Philippines from 1 to 3,000. So what is beginning to happen is that the three-wheeler business for us overseas is developing a very long and strong tail that is driving three-wheeler sales up there. So for exports, just to finish that, in June also, we are looking at a growth of about 30% based on orders in hand, God willing, if there's no port strike again. So that has been good. On motorcycles, yes, finally, we seem to have found our groove again, growing 23% both in May and for the year, led by 2-3 very strong brand performances, CT, Discover and Pulsar. And on three-wheelers, nothing can go wrong, it seems, in the domestic market, growing 80% year to date and hoping to grow 80% through this quarter as well. So all the verticals doing rather well.
Okay. When we were speaking to Mr. Ravi Kumar earlier during the numbers, he refused to give us the guidance for FY19, saying that commodity prices are volatile, etc. But you're the big boss. You can tell us, do you think you'll do at least as good as the, about 10% volume growth you did in FY18?
Well, I think we finished at about 4 million units last year. Ravi is your typical conservative tambram, so you won't get that number from him. But if you look at what we've done as we've started this year, April 400,000 as a total, May we have done 400,000, June we are looking at, well, it's hard to repeat 400,000 because June starts softening. But for the quarter as a whole, if we average 400,000 vehicles a month, which is 1.2 million, then I would say yes, at least 10%, unless something very unusual happens sometime later this year, at least 10% year-on-year growth should be there for the taking.
Okay. But Rajiv, will you have to give up a little bit on margins because commodity prices are rising, because there are close shave competitions, competitors, and also because interest rates are going up? I mean, the consumer can take this much, even the petrol price is higher.
The short and honest answer, Lata, would be yes, perhaps a wee bit. And I'll tell you broadly, the 4 positives for margins are, one is obviously scale in terms of volume, because especially for the first quarter, we are going to see remarkable growth. Especially because for Bajaj, June last year, thanks to GST, was a terrible month. I mean, domestic motorcycle sales were only 110,000. They're looking to grow that at least 50% this month. And as I said, three-wheelers at least 80% up, exports at least 30% up. So I think scale is in our favor. We've had a very good growth on the Pulsar. Year to date in the domestic market, we have a 40% growth in the Pulsar, and as you can imagine, that's very good. Three-wheelers growing at 80%, both in domestic and exports, is outstanding. And Forex is somewhat in our favor because we are budgeted at about 66 rupees to the dollar, whereas it's about a rupee and a half more. So I think these are the positives. On the downside, as you correctly pointed out, there's huge commodity pressures that we have not been able to pass on all of that. We have a big increase in both Boxer and CT volumes, Boxer overseas and CT in India, and those are not particularly profitable SKUs. And of course, thanks to competition, sales costs are going up all the time. So in the overall balance, I would say a wee bit of a compromise in margins should be expected.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up competition, because you've been trying your best to convince buyers that Dominar is better than the other elephants, right, in the market. I mean, we've all seen that Hathi Mat Palo campaign. But in all honesty, are you a little disappointed with the way the Dominar sales have shaped up? I mean, Royal Enfield still is the undisputed king in that segment.
Surya, it depends on what your frame of reference is. See, today, for us, first and foremost, any product we build, we are building it for the global market. I think between domestic and exports every month, we now do 3,000 to 4,000 a month. If I compare that with Royal Enfield, 75,000, it's nowhere. If I compare that with what a Hero or a Honda or a Yamaha or a TVS does in that segment, or even a KTM, if I just consider that to be a separate brand for the time being, I think we are doing very well. So I think sometimes, comparisons are good, but sometimes they can provoke you into following the wrong direction. And with Dominar, we can't afford to make that mistake. So I think, if I were to just cut this by exports, I think, I don't have that data on my fingertips, but I would not be wrong if for the last few months we've already exceeded Enfield outside of India.
Okay.
Now, obviously, here, this is their stronghold. It will take time to make an impact.
But even your own expectation, Rajiv, if I'm not wrong, you had said about 10,000 units a month is what you'll do in terms of Dominar sales, right? Is that a trajectory? You haven't achieved that, but is that something that you hope to do soon?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You're right. I will definitely acknowledge that we were hopeful that between domestic and exports, we can get to 10,000 quickly. And as I said, we are between 3,000 and 4,000, so less than halfway there. To that extent, of course, we are disappointed. And we're going to keep trying both in terms of product and marketing initiatives. But I have no doubt. It took us a while to build Pulsar when we started. It took us a while to build KTM when we started. It will take us a while to build Dominar today and hopefully Triumph tomorrow.
Okay. Rajiv, any new launches, or are you going to put all your marketing might, sales might behind the Dominars and the KTMs?
We have launches focused in two very clear segments. The entry segment, where we have CT, Platina, Discover, and the sports segment of Pulsar and Avenger and Dominar. Because I think, between these two lies 50% of the domestic market, the domestic motorcycle market, and I think this is our area of strength, so we must focus here. We also have launches in the three-wheeler space, including something very exciting, which is the electric three-wheeler, because I think that can further catapult our growth if the government is really serious about promoting electric. So that's interesting, and I believe finally, any day now, we will have approval for our quadricycle, the Qute, in this market. So in addition to the 10,000 we are hoping to export of the Qute, hopefully we can sell a similar number, if not a little more, in India as well.
I was hoping you would talk about the possibility of an electric scooter because, the last time I checked, I heard that Bajaj Auto wanted to become the Tesla of electric scooters or motorcycles. What's the latest there? Anything up your sleeve?
That would be music to my father's ears. But I didn't say electric scooters. I said, the Tesla on two wheels as an example, because I honestly believe that electric vehicles, with electric vehicles, you cannot fight the perceptions around them in terms of some of the anxieties. But what you got to do is to make something that is so cool, so chic, so sexy that some people just go out and buy it. And then with their good experience, that motivates the herd to follow them. So for sure, I've said this, that around the time of the BS6 emission norms, which is around 2020, would seem to be a very appropriate time to enter the market with the electric vehicle, because conventional vehicles will get very expensive then due to the new technologies that everybody will have to adopt. And I think that would be a good time to time a really nice electric two-wheeler into the market. So certainly we are going to do that, but whether it's scooter or motorcycle, time will tell.
Okay. Rajiv Bajaj, always a pleasure speaking with you, and we are going to hold you to the promise. Next time it will be on air.